I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the January 20th, 2015 Planning Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Chair Petersen.
Here.
Vice Chair Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Chase.
Here.
Commissioner Samut. Commissioner Mishra.
Here.
Commissioner Biasotti.
Here.
Thank you.
The first item, the next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Biasotti, can you read it?
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item 1 is approval of the minutes of the December 16th meeting.
Through the chair, motion that we approve the minutes for December 16th, 2014.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 2, communications.
Chair Petersen and Planning Commissioners, I'd like to welcome this evening our new contract planner, Paula Bradley. And Paula joins us from Pacific Municipal Consultants, and Paula will be working with us on a variety of current planning projects and also working with us and our Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So we recently had a BPAC meeting, Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting, and Paula set that up with the agenda and so forth and did a great job. And I welcome her this evening to our Planning Commission meeting.
Come.
Thank you. Welcome. Agenda items, any other communications?
No additional communications this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is public comment on items not on the agenda. If someone's here who would like to comment on items not on tonight's agenda, please step to the podium. Seeing none, move on to the next item, which is announcement of conflict of interest. Any commissioners have a conflict? Seeing none, move on to public hearings. Item 5A, 290 Elm Avenue. It's a request for a use permit to allow the construction of an addition which increases the gross floor area of the existing home by greater than 50%. Per section 12200 30B1 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Thank you and good evening. As indicated, the applicant has applied for a use permit to expand the existing residence by greater than 50%. The site itself is located on the east side of Elm Avenue between Crystal Springs Avenue and San Felipe Avenue. Site area is 5,000 square feet and is currently developed with a one-story single-family dwelling. The single-family dwelling contains 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room, dining room, kitchen, and a 1-car garage. The applicant is proposing a 1-story addition to the rear of the existing single-family dwelling. The addition amounts to 715 square feet and would include a master bedroom and a family room. The exterior finish of the proposed addition would match the existing single-family home, which includes stucco finish. The Architecture Review Committee reviewed this project at their December meeting. At that meeting, the Architecture Review Committee forwarded the project onto the Planning Commission with minor staff recommendations, which included updates to the project data chart to accurately reflect existing and proposed conditions, to incorporate roof eaves along the left and right side of the proposed addition.
Excuse me, could you speak up just a little bit?
Yeah, is that a little bit better?
That's much better.
All right. So as indicated, the project was reviewed by the Architecture Review Committee, and they did forward it onto the Planning Commission with minor recommendations. I'll just highlight some of those recommendations. The project data was updated to accurately reflect existing and proposed conditions. The roof eaves were incorporated along the left and right side elevation as recommended by staff and the Architecture Review Committee. Additionally, the applicant included notes on the existing and proposed elevation indicating the type of window trim proposed. Lastly, the applicant updated the existing elevations to clearly show the exterior finish of the home. The applicant has submitted revised plans addressing all of these items. As indicated, a use permit is required because the existing home would be expanded by greater than 50%. I would like to point out that the project is meeting all development standards, meaning the FAR requirement, lot coverage, height, and setback requirements. Staff finds that the addition is well integrated with the existing single-family home and is consistent with the residential design guidelines. I would like to point out that we did send a courtesy notice and the required legal notice, and we have not received comments from anyone regarding this proposed addition. Overall, staff supports the project, and we would recommend that the Planning Commission approve the use permit request. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Any questions by the commission for staff? I just had one on page 3 in the table of site conditions. It says the lot coverage is 2,200 square feet or 11%.
That is an error within the staff report. It is 2,200 square feet, that is accurate, but that amounts to 44% of the lot area.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing on this item, and if the applicant is present, please step to the podium and make a presentation if you wish, and see if the commission may have some questions. Please give your name and street name for the record.
Hello. My name is Pavlos Lazos. I'm the owner of 290 Elm. And we are doing this addition because the house is very small as it stands right now. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we want them to have their own bedrooms, and for my wife and I to have our bedroom back. So this is the reason we're doing the addition. We didn't go up. We stayed towards the back because our yard is a decent size. And we also did this so it doesn't inconvenience the family during the construction project. So this was part of how we came up with the design of the house, which took many tries with my wife and I and the designer of the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Could you tell us who the designer is?
He's a good friend of mine. His name is Grant Lee, and if we need to post that on there, I can go ahead and do that. I also am working with the structural engineer for all the foundation and all the stuff that needs to be done to make the house safe and comply with the city regulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on the item? Hearing none, and without objection, I'll close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion if there's no discussion. I'll make a motion that we approve use permit 14-018 based on findings of fact 1 through 6 and conditions of approval 1 through 26.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have 2 seconds.
Takes to the third.
We'll assign that to Commissioner Mishra, I think. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's a 10-day appeal period.
Can I say one thing?
Sure. Please step to the podium so we can, so people can hear you.
I'd like to thank Matt and also the city of San Bruno. This is, I've had many tries at this. I first went to the front desk with the piece of paper with the design, and instead of the city, being, rude or making me feel uncomfortable, everybody's been really nice and has made this a very comfortable experience. And, Matt, and I can't remember everybody's name, but it's been real pleasant. I look forward to working with the city, and I wish I could do more projects like this. So thank you, Matt, and make sure you thank everybody at the front desk for me.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Moving on to the next item is 5B, 260 El Camino Real. It's a request for use permit to allow alcohol beverage sales in conjunction with a restaurant per chapters 1284-210 and 1296-110 C16 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Paula Bradley, the project planner, and this is the project known as Cleo's Restaurant at 446 San Mateo Avenue. It's on the east side of San Mateo Avenue between Taylor and Cypress Court, and the applicant is proposing to expand their on-site sale of beer and wine license to also have a full license to sell distilled spirits. A previous permit was approved for the sale of beer and wine. And at the time that the restaurant located from El Camino to San Mateo Avenue, they also obtained a permit for facade improvements at that time. With this project, there's no interior improvements or any exterior changes proposed. The restaurant will continue to serve lunch and dinner. The hours will remain the same, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The 4,090 square foot restaurant will not include a separate bar, and alcohol sales are only for diners at the restaurant. There's also a 32 parking spaces on site that are shared with another business on the same site, formerly known as the Paper Moon. Conditions of approval were approved in 2009 for the previous alcohol sales permit, and those conditions will still apply to this current expansion of their permit, particularly concerning trash, parking, address numbers, lighting, and those type of conditions, operating criteria. Since the restaurant is existing and is consistent with the transit corridors plan and the zoning code central business district, only the sale of alcohol requires the Planning Commission approval. Staff recommends that the project be approved, subject to the findings and facts and 13 conditions attached. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
As a point of order, I'm a little confused. We're on agenda item 5B, and that sounded like the presentation for agenda item 5C. Are you presenting 260 or El Camino or 446 San Mateo?
Yeah, actually, that's my error, and I am presenting both projects. So I can go ahead and give the presentation for the correct project in the correct order.
I think what we heard really was the presentation for 5C for 446 San Mateo Avenue. So if we could, I think what we might want to do is just change the agenda order. I think that Ms. Bradley presented the one for 446 San Mateo Avenue 5C and gave a good overview of that item. And if we could just clarify that that was indeed 446 San Mateo Avenue 5C, and then she could come back after you deliberate this item and do the presentation for 5B, if that's okay with the commission.
I'm not sure how that would work because I spent part of my time trying to figure out what item we were on, and I wasn't really concentrating on the presentation. So I'd like to see if there's no objection from the other commissioners, I'll adopt your suggestion to change the order to taking 5C first. Any other commissioners have any comment on this? I'm not sure if you were not quite as well oriented as I would like to be. Does anyone else have a problem with this?
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson?
Given the fact that you're chair, I can certainly see why you were trying to align yourself. However, from my perspective, I was able to hear the information clearly. It was presented. I was able to taking the
Okay.
information. So
Good.
from my perspective, I'm okay moving forward.
Very good. Commissioner Chase?
Doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between 5B and 5C. I was following it, and I was thinking I was on the right one, so again, it was pretty clear, unless you really
Okay,
seriously,
very good.
need to hear it again.
So we'll,
I agree with that sentiment.
okay. We'll now, the chair will now recognize that we're on agenda item 5C, and we'll change the order of the agenda to have 5C before 5B. And now we'll entertain commissioner questions on 5C for staff, if there are any. Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll proceed to the public hearing on 5C. Is there a representative here for 5C? Please step to the podium, give a presentation if you wish. Give your name and street name.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
My name is Cleo Nierlem from Cleo's Brazilian Steakhouse, traditional Brazilian steakhouse. The reason we try to get the full license, the hard liquor, is because we try to offer our customer the full experience in the Brazilian steakhouse. In Brazil, we have some kind of cocktail that's made with like hard liquor, and it's very popular in here too, in America. And we offer, but we not use the right product because we're not able to have the hard liquor. The product we're using now is 24% alcohol, and some people complain, some ask why we don't have the hard liquor, and then we have opportunity to apply for the full license, and then we step forward, and I hope you guys can help you. Okay?
Very good, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No?
Through the chair?
Oh, Commissioner
How many years have you
Biassatti.
been in business in San Bruno?
I'm sorry?
How many years have you been in business in San Bruno?
San Bruno, we opened in 2005 on El Camino, next to Don Picos,
Yeah,
and then we moved to San Mateo Ave.
so 10 years. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
My third time here.
Any other members of the public wish to comment on this application? Hearing none, and if there's no objection, I'll close the public hearing, bring the matter back to the commission.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Chase.
If there's no objections, I'll make a motion that we approve use permit 14-021 based on findings of fact 1 through 5, conditions of approval 1 through 13, noting that we flip-flopped the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and there's a 10-day appeal period. Thank you. Now we can move on to agenda item 5B, which is 260 El Camino Real, a request for a use permit to allow alcohol beverage sales in conjunction with restaurants for chapters 1284-210 and 1296-110 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
This project is the Tofu House. It's located at 260 El Camino Real on the east side of El Camino between San Felipe and Chapman Avenues. And this is in a 5,000 square foot retail center and also includes uses such as a hearing aid center, nail salon, and a medical business. The applicant is proposing to establish a beer and wine license which expired in 2012 for the existing restaurant. There are no interior or exterior changes of any kind proposed with this request and no expansion of the restaurant. The restaurant has no separate bar area and alcohol sales are only for the diners at the restaurant. The hours of operation will remain the same. It's for lunch and dinner, 11:30 to 2:30 and 5:30 to 9:30. And this restaurant is open Monday through Saturday and also for dinner on Sundays. There are 16 shared parking spaces for the retail center. And the use is existing. It's in the Central Business Commercial Zoning District, and the Planning Commission approval is only required for the sale of beer and wine. This site had a previous approval that had expired, and the same conditions will apply to this this new permit to reestablish their beer and wine license. And staff recommends approval of the project, subject to the findings in fact and the 13 conditions of approval. And that concludes my report, and staff is available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? No? Thank you very much. Is the applicant here for 260 El Camino? Could you step to the podium? If you have a presentation, please make it and give your name and street name for the record. Thank you.
My name is Monica Kim. I'm here on behalf of the owner. My mom, she has an ear infection, so she can't really hear out of both ears. So I'm going to take her to the hospital anyway. In any case, this is in regarding 260 El Camino Real. She was not present for 2 years. She was out of the country, and under my management, I forgot to pay for the alcohol license, and that's why it was suspended. Yeah, I don't have any more to say beyond. Yeah, we don't have any tickets. It doesn't seem to harm anybody for us to have an alcohol license. It's just for people to dine. We only have soju, which is about 19% alcohol, and everyone just enjoys it with their meal. You know, it's not anything special. So.
It's a traditional Korean drink.
Yeah.
It kind of goes with the flavor for the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted to provide it.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, one moment. Let's see if there's any
Yes.
questions. Does anyone on the commission have a question for the applicant?
Through the chair.
Commissioner
It's mostly
Johnson?
for clarification. The gentleman spoke, and if you can add your name.
Oh,
David Chong.
Thank you, sir.
my soon-to-be husband.
Yeah, fiance's.
And we all work together, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
might add that's the most candid presentation I've heard.
I'd like to know if Mom got mad that you didn't take care of the license.
She told me, just go to City Hall. So I went to City Hall in San Bruno, and then the janitor sent me here. So it's pretty candid. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to speak on this application? Hearing none, and if there's no objection, I'll close the public hearing, bring the matter back to the commission for a motion.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Chase.
If nobody has any comments or questions or anything like that, I'm going to make a motion that we approve use permit 14-017 based on findings of fact, 1 through 5, conditions of approval, 1 through 13.
Is there a second?
Second.
Got to be faster than that.
I'll give that one to Commissioner Johnson for the second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. There's a 10-day appeal period. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to item number 6, discussion, 6A, city staff discussion.
Chair Petersen, it's at this point on our agenda that I'm looking for 3 volunteers for our next Architecture Review Committee meeting. So if 3 of you would volunteer, it's going to be on February 12th. Commissioner Chase? And
I'm in.
Commissioner Biasotti? And who else, please? And Commissioner Johnson, Vice Chair Johnson. Thank you.
Okay, any other city staff discussion? Planning Commission discussion, 6B. It's to appoint the new Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair, which would be, in order, Mary Lou Johnson, the next chair, and Kevin Chase, the Vice Chair. Let's deal with them one at a time. Commissioner Johnson, are you willing to accept the
I
responsibility?
do accept.
Okay. And I'd like to do this by by a vote.
A nomination, a second, and a vote, please.
Okay. I would like to nominate Commissioner Johnson for chair.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chase. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the vice chair, Kevin Chase. I would like to nominate Kevin Chase for the vice chairmanship.
Second.
And Commissioner Mishra is the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen.
And congratulations to you.
Well,
And thank
thank
you.
you.
Great job doing it this year, I'll tell you.
Thank you. My pleasure. And any other planning commission discussion? I'll ask the curious question of wondering if we can get another planning commissioner someday.
You know, we have discussed that, the city manager and I have discussed that, and we've put together some information as requested by the city council subcommittee, and so I would imagine that that would go back to the city council for consideration in the near future. So they had requested that we put together a description, an exercise for the new commissioners, prospective new commissioners to consider and take, and we've put together that base information, so I'm sure that information will go back to the council subcommittee, council commission subcommittee for consideration, and with that, then we would have a selection process. So we are moving it along, and I did provide the information to move it forward, so I'll
Through the
keep you
chair.
updated.
Commissioner Chase?
In that same regard, how long has it been since we've been 6 instead of 7? When did Bob resign? It was sometime middle of last year, was it?
It's been probably at least 6 months.
Okay. And I'm just curious, by law, do we have to have 7? Is that what, 'cause I haven't thought about this until Chair Petersen brought it up, you know, I mean, and I understand the process, you know, it's gonna be forthcoming, but how long do we go if we have to have, or if we're, you know, required to have 7 and we're working on 6? And who knows how long this proposed process may take?
Well,
That clear enough?
It
Or
is
that-
clear.
Or is that just like muddled?
No, that was very clear, and thank you. The bylaws indicate that you should have 7, and the city council is in the process of working toward filling that position. It's my understanding that they have every intent of moving forward to do that. They did ask for staff to put together some additional information, including an exercise or exercises for new prospective commissioners to take as part of that process for selection. And really, it's us, staff, I would say, that took some time to do that, and I apologize for that, but we did finish that, and it is in a draft form for the committee to look at, but we have done our work now. But I would say that it did take us longer to do than I expected, and I apologize again for that.
No apologies necessary, I'm just kind of curious. So we're not then required by law to have 7, it's just what the bylaws state that we should have 7? Is
Right,
that
it's
how
per the
that's-
bylaws, and the council will fill that position. And I'm not sure exactly when that's going to occur, but I would think at this point, since we have that information put together, as I mentioned, we'll forward it on to the subcommittee, and I would assume that the council would go forward with a selection in the near term. I can't say exactly how long that might take there.
And my one final question is there a time limit or a you know, a time frame put on it, not by the council, not by commissioners, not by staff, but that is required to have that position filled?
I'm not aware of any specific time frame, and the fact that you're a body of 6 at this point is not an issue legally in terms of your actions.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Commissioner Biassiatti.
Just a quick question. What do we need for a quorum now? 4 or 5?
Your quorum is 4.
Okay, so we're well beyond.
You're a body of 7, so your quorum is 4.
Okay.
I have to say, the commissioners have set me up perfectly for this next question, and I was thinking of before they started, but it turns out they asked the exact questions I need for a basis, and that is changes in time and space can cause us to not have a quorum, and it's a lot easier to have a quorum if we have 7 instead of 6, and based on that, I'd ask you to pass on to the council that it's been some time, for whatever reason, with 6 instead of 7 members, and it would be helpful to put some speed on the remaining activities.
I'll pass that along. Thank you.
Not that they're at fault, but I mean, it's,
No, like I said, the subcommittee had asked for specific information. I think that, if anything, we took longer to produce that. So we have done that now. It's in draft form, but it's ready to move forward. So,
and I thought I remembered there was to be some kind of study session between a couple commission members and a couple council members. Did that ever occur?
yes, it did occur.
And is there another one?
There will be another one, because at that subcommittee meeting, there was a decision that we put together some information, including exercises, like I mentioned, for prospective commissioners to take for evaluation. And the subcommittee asked that that be done. That has been done now. And yes, there was that committee meeting. I would expect that we would bring that information back to the subcommittee to look at, to accept, and then there would be the formal recruitment.
Great. I look forward to seeing the new commissioner.
I understand.
Well, I mean, I'm not being smart. It will be interesting. The commissioners here are probably, as a group, have the most tenure of any commission that I recall. And so having a new one will be quite an experience. Any other planning commission discussion?
Through the chair,
Commissioner Johnson?
I would just like to acknowledge you for your leadership,
Thank you.
good direction, and I appreciate your hard work and your good questions, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Second that.
Any other comments? Thanks again.
Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned.